we've seen the same thing happen there too, SPD. I mean, talk about, like, obviously I know you are Le Champion, you are the GOAT, you love Jericho, and he's
I'm an inner circle guy.
He's as
inner
good
circle
of a promo.
squad, Sharonica.
He's as good of a promo as it gets in wrestling. Now, MJF, I loved some of his digs that he made at Jericho and his promo about how, like, you know, like cracking himself up and the juvenile humor that Jericho likes to lean into. But we've seen the inner circle really building stars, right? And Jericho talked about that in his podcast. And I know you have pushed me more and more. I try to listen to Talk with Jericho now every time it comes out because it's such a must listen. Jericho talked about how
the curtain. It's so great.
The inner circle really is not just Jericho and his buddies.
Yep.
It's really legitimate stars all come together, right? Like Sammy Guevara, I think we're not alone when we see this kid has some super high ceiling, right? I mean, this guy could emerge as the star that breaks out of the inner circle, who could become that top guy. You see, I mean, like if you're a fan of Santana Ortiz, those guys, their work that they did back in Impact, TNA, those guys are pros. And what we've got to see out of Santana and Ortiz on their own with mic work. I mean, Santana is a guy who I think is one of my just has the swagger. He just carries himself like a badass dude.
Does he ever?
I love it. I love what we've seen out of these guys, and even Jake Hager, man. You get to see tonight in that promo. Jake cut a hell of a promo tonight, right?
He's a one scary man for sure, and I love this promo, man. What I'm loving, like honestly, I think what I'm loving the most out of this inner circle turn is that all guys are getting to shine, and Ortiz looks like such a badass. Santana looks like such a badass. Another team that you got me just in, full blown on the train of those because they're the best. They're the best. Proud and powerful. So, but I some of the things, man, I love how they like pass the mic almost essentially, and get their turn. And Jericho's got that awesome smirk and body language. You could just see the wheels turning and what he's ready to do. And, his whole "was it worth it" promo, was it worth it? Was it worth it? I honestly, like I texted you guys, I was hoping they didn't accept this soon, just so they can like start to like pluck them off one by one, and make Pinnacle agree to their terms versus them agreeing to the inner circles or Pinnacle's terms. So like inner circle come back with a vengeance and just start putting them away, and then Pinnacle having to force a match, flipping the script essentially, putting the ball back in the inner circle's courts. So I loved it, man. How he said he's gonna dance all over your face and piss all over your grave, man. Oh,
Jericho always is good for those lines.
Drop.
Yeah, Jericho will always is good for a line or two that just you'll remember for the rest of the night. I feel like the way this is shaping up makes a lot of sense though, man. Like they won at Blood and Guts, and they did so in a very like underhanded, lousy way. I mean, MJF clearly emerged as the most detested guy in all of professional wrestling for a reason. But I like now it's very fitting. Double or nothing. Double or nothing. The stakes can never be higher for the inner circle. If they win this match, it's even up 1-1. And I think that like then you start to allow us to see what happens next, right? You're going to see more of these two going at it because as they've made very clear tonight, I mean, the inner circle made it very, very clear. This is not just going to be about one fight and we're done. This is not going to be just about Stadium Stampede, which is going to be fun to watch. I love that we're going to get Stadium Stampede Part 2 at Double or Nothing. That's going to be a great one. Should have brought a cone in. Yeah. I can't wait for that. And I think that but they made it very clear, dude. Like they made it clear, even if and when the inner circle wins this match at Double or Nothing, it's not over. It's not over. Like we
don't want it to be over.
One of these teams is going to have to fall apart in order for this feud to be over. And I love how personal, what that goal is. SPD, I think that you and I have been worrying about, man, did they rush into Blood and Guts? And are they getting into too much too soon? They made it very clear tonight.
Right.
There's a lot more down the road for us and as fans. This is far from over.
Good.
There's going to be a lot more down the road between these two crews. And I love where that's going to lead to, man. We've talked about it time and again. Sign us up for some Santana Ortiz versus FTR. Sign us up for some MJF versus Sammy. We need to see some of these matchups in a one-on-one. I love the gang warfare, but let's get the teams 1-to-1, and then, like you said, let's start moving those chess pieces, having those two crews go against each other in a different setting. I really think that there's a lot of meat on the bone for AEW to get at.
Oh, you're absolutely right. I mean, this is just I hope it's just the bread, not even the appetizer of a 50-course meal for that as well.